Hello, good morning. Good Sunday morning right here in California. Rainy day for the past at least 24 plus hours. Still continuing raining. As you probably, if you check one of my posts, I post the situation here in California, a picture of the map of California. It looks like we're still gonna have this kind of weather until at least tomorrow or so. We are, keeping an eye on it and see, what's going on. Uh, it's kind of probably one of the most raining day for the past, at least for the past decades. So yes, this is the situation. I kind of enjoy rain, but I kind of feel concerned and worry about those homeless people who have no roof over their heads and no place to go and things like that. That's a concern. In California, we probably have about I should say over 100,000 people homeless in California, mainly here in Los Angeles and let's say the other part of the country, I mean California, like Sacramento, those big cities, San Francisco Bay Area, and on and on. So anyway, I just want to say thank you for those who have been watching my videos. It is very nice of you for checking out my videos and everything else. So thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing. I am finally, we got to over 1,000 subscribers, and for that, I'm very grateful too. I'm okay. Thank you for asking, Mr. Mike, whatever. Thank you. How are you? Uh, no need to donate. Just thank you for stopping by. All right. I definitely appreciate very, very much of those who participate, who stop by to check our live presentation, to give your honest, sincere, but polite, well-mannered opinion. I would like to ask you guys to please respect each other, use proper words, and other than that, you are all absolutely welcome. Thank you so much. And if I am a pastor, well, if you look at the title, I'm trying to define myself, okay? But I appreciate your question. No, I'm not a pastor. But if you ask me if I am a religious person, I'm not. If I am a spiritual person, I would like to consider myself a spiritual person, philosophical for sure. I think I'm a self, like on the title of my live presentation today, I'm a self-declared philosopher. I have my own philosophies and ideas of spirituality and the gospel and other teachings. So I'm not pro any religion. Matter of fact, I've been talking about the possibility and I've been thinking about to have some sort of a website. I'm still thinking, nothing really clear on that. And I already have the kind of title for something around this the gospel of no religion. So, no, I do not accept anybody, anything for any reason. I am a very self informed person when it comes to scriptures. Well, I know that it's a way more people than I am informed. I'm not no comparisons here. But I've been around the block reading scriptures for many, many, many years and decades. So no need to contribute anything. I appreciate your offer. Okay, not at this point, at least. But I appreciate if you guys check it out. We can have an honest, sincere, and very respectful conversation about this topic, like religion, gospel, any other teachings, philosophy, and politics. Yes. But I do not appreciate when you guys ask me on which side I am when it comes to the current president, the former president, former government leaders, and this and that. I'm going to tell you why. There is two main things that I do not support at all. One is politicians, and the second one is religion. I think people do whatever they want to do, but I think the main cause of all this grace, all this sadness, and absolutely all the harmful things that we have right now on this planet, it is caused by religion and or politicians. Sometimes it's the combination of both. So anyway, I appreciate. So anyway, so I don't support anybody in a political arena. Okay, I guess I answer your question. So I do not believe in parties. I do not believe in left or right. Actually, the world will be definitely better off without politicians and religion. That I know for a fact. Actually, I believe that we should reinvent the system that we currently have on this planet. We should examine all the other options and ideas. That's how I see it. And well, you see, this is one of a point that your brain tickers are making right now. I appreciate that. You know, the same God who prohibit you of doing something, sometimes if you read the scriptures, he justify himself of doing that very thing that he told you not to do. Are you following me on that? So for his wish or whatever wisdom, and that I can't take well. So, but one thing I saw the other day, somebody posting that religion most of the time is invented, if not all the time, is invented by man. And if I say that by saying that, you're gonna see that in all religion, or at least most of, there is one God on it, at least one. Some religions are more than one. So then it makes me wonder, okay, who invented religion? God? Well, if the man invented religion, so then he probably invented some gods too. So, but I don't like the confrontation of it. I have no desire for that. But and let me tell you, this is not just an assumption like out of the blue. Let me tell you, let me say something which I think is very important to all of us. For decades, I truly believe in believing, and I teach many people about the gospel, about God, about Jesus Christ, about this, about that. And then I came to realize that, hey, man, wait a minute, something is wrong here. And that was very, very, spiritually speaking, very painful for me to realize and be humble enough to say, I have to step back and change my course. So that's what I'm doing now. You're going to see me talking a lot about, being anti religion, and politicians, because I've been around for a long time, around politicians, around religious leaders, around, you know, gospel teachings, and etc., etc. And if you see a lot of my posts, I'm going to give you some hint what I'm thinking about things right now. You know, in United States, so you can have an idea, and this is very true. If you examine the evangelical movement in United States, you're going to see that they are very clear about a white God with white agenda and absolutely white Jesus with a white agenda. For most or many religion here in the United States, you're going to see they preaching about stuff not taking care of immigrants and the poor people. They're abusing the system by using those food banks and government help with food and other assistance. So they don't see this kind of help to the poor as a Christ thing. They see it something as something else. So we have a completely different movement from these people that self-proclaim themselves Christians, which is in large the evangelical movement. So, and that turns me off because I say, and I know for a fact, these people are far, far away from Christ. Far away from Christ. Nothing to do with Him, and they do not understand what they're talking about. So, well, my belief is not believing. You're right about that, K. Master. I think we have to examine things, the information. But I believe, again, I'll take that back. I think spirituality and following good principles, even from the scriptures, it is an important thing in life. Although I think there is way more philosophical ideas out there, we cannot just shut this on tunnel vision, and because this is going to cause a lot of harm to a human intelligence. And that's what religion does too. Religion guides you to where they want you to go. you know and let me just put another point on this. I can guarantee you guys that religion is not from Christ. This was man's creation. They used the opportunity, they grabbed his teachings and decide to what I call institutionalize uh, uh, the teachings of Christ. That's what religion does. And some other religions. I'm talking about even gospel right now because I am very familiar with that. I want to think I am, and that's why. So it's really hard for me, for instance, and for many people out there to say, let me stop a little bit here. Let me keep. Hold on. Let me keep the scriptures, right? And let me step back a little bit from religion and see how Christ stands on it. And you're going to need a lot of spirituality to act like that because, one, the Bible is a very suffered book. Remember, we have King James hands on it, and then some other leaders, world leaders like even Constantine. So, the Bible and other scriptures, you need a lot of spirituality to understand. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Thank you for subscribing. So what I'm trying to say is that if you can, and sorry guys for not answering and checking out your message right now because I'm getting old. I don't want to lose my you know analysis here. But it is hard for many people to detach, right, the gospel from religion. Because every time you grab the Bible or any other book, in your mind, in your brain, because of the brainwash that our religion in some level does to you, you know, you always connect one thing with Jesus' teachings, for instance, with your own religion. But it has nothing to do with that. The institution does not do much favor to the gospel itself. I think I'm kind of even more clear on this position. So some people think that because I'm anti-religion, I am anti-Christ, I'm anti-gospel, I'm anti, good Muslim teachings and even Judaism teachings. So, so it's not that. But God, it's a very complicated topic because everybody put a dress code on their own God. If you look at my latest post that I just did, some was this morning on my channel, you're gonna see I post a question about the color of Jesus. Oh, my friend, let me tell you something. For the majority of evangelicals and Christians, including colored people, Jesus is very white, Western white guy, or individual, better say. You can even argue differently. You cannot argue here that he is Palestinian. And if you look at the Palestinian civilization or people, they have a darker skin. You don't want to consider that he was born in Bethlehem and he lived a long time in Egypt with his family. So you feel better talking about this beautiful, handsome, well-dressed, classic. I'm surprised they still, maybe some years from now, somebody gonna put a tie and a suit on him. Are you following on this one? So we picked our Jesus to our own convenience and say, you know what, this is what I believe from him. So, so it is really hard to be intellectual when it comes to religion and spirituality. People have a very hard time on acting with intellectuality when it comes to spirituality. It's very dogmatic. It's very, you know, it's very like you should or should not do that, do or should not do or don't do these things or those things. You know, so some years ago, decades ago, I was still a religious person. I decided to make a study about all the documents out there that describe Jesus as a person, physically and personality. And I came across, not many people know that, a letter from Pilatus to the governor describing the very Jesus that we are talking about right now. You should check it out. Those things start to, kick it in. And it was a good experience, though. You know, that's true. True, John. I appreciate your comment. I appreciate. True. Medicine, I appreciate. Thank you. You have the choice, but as far as me and my house, I will serve the Lord. You know, this is another scripture, Joshua, right? This is another scripture from the Old Testament that makes me wonder. Let me confuse you guys a little bit, okay? Can I tell a story about this? It's gonna drive you crazy because you mentioned me and you know my friend will serve the Lord, right? Interesting scripture. Um, some years ago, you know, I had a friend. I don't even know if he's still alive. I hope he is. Um, we had a conversation, whatever about religion. I think it was, and just examine this, okay? And at a certain point, he told me about his wife. So he's a Jewish guy, funny guy, interesting guy. I liked him very much, by the way. And no, I'm not Jew, just in case. I'm not Jewish. I'm a lost soul. But anyway, so he told me one day that his wife was Catholic. I found like interesting, you know. And one day he said his wife asked him, "Look, you don't believe on the Bible, you know, because he's Jewish, right?" He said, he paused and said, "Of course I do believe in the Bible. We did write the Bible, right?" This is one of the amazing, funny answer, but it is very true. All the personality and characters, Old Testament, New Testament, you're gonna see the hands of a Jew on it. So when Joshua said those things, John, it is interesting that he was talking about one God. And remember, Christ himself told everybody on one of his preaches, one of his teachings, that his kingdom, it is not from this world, it is not from this planet. So you will be surprised that a person from your very faith or religion, all of you out there, you will be surprised. Do this task and ask this question for your brothers and sisters out there. Describe God to me. Even an evangelical faith that is so many different descriptions of God. You know why? Because most of us, including myself, have no clue who is God. We talk about from what we were taught about it. You know, our teachers, our pastors, and our understanding. Not even Christ was very clear on that. If you doubt me, just check it out, the New Testament. You know, and you want to bet that for the majority of people, God is very white, Caucasian as the sun. He can't be dark skin color and not mention all the attribute, all the characters, and all his, because even his teachings, according to the Jewish teachings, because remember, all the prophets on the Bible is from Israel. What we gonna do about it? So Let me just say this. You would be surprised how much we all don't know about this person, this celestial being called God. Physically speaking, spiritually speaking, his agenda and what he really wants. I personally, one of the things that took me out of religion was the hard time that I had to understand that one God can tell one nation to destroy the other nation so they can have the promised land. The order of extermination from God, it turned me off big time. And there is no one on this planet, that religious or not, that can make me understand that the God's will, it's hard to understand because of that. No, it's not. It's plain and clear that is a man's hand on this teaching. Just think about that. You are very right. Some people take the scriptures and from beliefs that contradict its meaning. Of course, convenient. And the answer that I'm not gonna say hate because I don't like the word, but I dislike most. It make me dizzy, nauseous. It's when something horrible happen in the name of God, when somebody give me this insulting explanation. I'm telling you again, insulting explanation. Well, God's will sometimes is hard to understand. This is just a confrontational insult, violence against intelligence. And this is another reason why I stepped away from religion. Because religion sometimes smash, step on it, kick around, try to destroy intelligence of a human being. That's what religion does too, in order to fulfill their agenda. God cannot be wrong, but he can be right even in the wrong things. Wow, I got this one right, huh? When you and me commit a genocide or do something horrible to humanity or to the fellow human being or our brother or sister, when you do something horrible here in the United States, you can get the death penalty. It depends on the state that you're living in, right? But if this comes from the order of God, it's a God's will. You cannot question him. Am I wrong on this one? So, what is wrong with that religion? The unjustifiable is justified when you show on the scripture that God did that once or twice or three times, and that's his will. So don't question God's will. I cannot take that. I cannot take that. Well, that's why I'm here and talking to you. That's why I post my videos. That's why I give my opinion, which I tell all the time. It is my opinion only. Now I decide to have to self-proclaim a self philosopher, because that's what I am. I'm not defending any idea here. This is the reason, again, let me bring back why I am not pro politicians. A guy right in the beginning asked me, "Oh, you're pro this or pro that." I am not pro anything. I know and I feel that I know what is wrong and what is right. And I'm just giving you my opinion. What you're going to do about it, it's up to you because it's your life. You know, God is universe or beyond everything. I want to be absolutely honest with you, medicine head, and I appreciate your questions. I have no idea who God is. If you ask me the descriptions of gods out there, I'll tell you this right now. It's all ignorance or religious agenda when it comes to God's existence. Now, that have had been said, I want to say something. Every time I examine the universe, because I have a lot of interest for the universe, for planets, for our solar systems, for galaxies and stuff like that. And you'll be crazy if you see my position in many of that stuff that I just told you. But when I look at our solar system, our galaxy, and when I examine the percentage of probability of us, of our existence, that makes me wonder, maybe there is God or some sort of power out there that makes this kind of thing happen. Now, I'm not saying that is true or not true because I have no understanding, a clear understanding of God. And this is because, you know why? Freaking religion. Because all the gods presented out there, something is wrong with that God. Are you following me on this one? You see, for instance, the idea of God that He got all the power, all the knowledge, those three attributes, right? All the power, all the knowledge, and understanding. And He can be anywhere, anytime. That freaks me out because knowing this whole thing, and they are using the free will or free agency to justify why He allowed us to make or to do those atrocities that we see on an everyday or daily basis. I cannot understand Him. But this God that I'm talking about now was presented by religion, was not presented on the other way. Now, I need to let you guys know one thing so I can make myself clear how confused and complicated this topic is. I think science is wrong in many other things too. Science, in many, many ways, are a guessing idea of what's going on. They still don't even understand the universe. Understand? Got it, John. This is another theory I appreciate. God created everything, human greed, violence, evil, Satan, everything. Look, if God exists the way religion is presented, remember I start saying that the God and evil was created by religion, right? So considering that he creates everything, it drives me nuts. It doesn't sound too intelligent creating an evil, right? And the capacity of solving problems by allowing us destroy each other and see how far we can go, it drives me nuts too. No, I'm not seeking truth, John. I'm not seeking truth. I'm not seeking anything. I'm just letting it happen. I read without agenda. Understand? It takes a lot of skills and a lot of work and time when you grab any book. Because remember, a book doesn't matter which book was written by somebody for some reason. So you're reading the words and trying to process the information. It takes a lot of skills. And not saying, I'm gonna follow this guy. I don't want anybody following me. I want you guys to think about it. Well, I agree that necessity it's another topic. You know, philosophy, it's the idea that you're going to grab a topic or an element or something and pondering over. Philosophy is not a doctrine, not supposed to. Philosophy is point of view sometimes. Sometimes you throw things out there, but I think in my own self philosopher guy, now I decide to call myself self denominated philosopher, you just analyze things and share. I don't want you to believe because I don't believe anything. I want you guys to think about it and bring your own ideas and solution if you have one. So just think about that. What happens if we just relax and chill? What if God, religion, politics no longer our business? Well, the reality is we have a reality. It's not a utopic. Politicians and religion govern this planet. That's a huge, horrible reality. It's not an idea or philosophy or a spiritual or spirituality view over. No, no. Politics, politicians, political system, and religion govern all of us on this planet. All of us, no exception. Question is how are we going to get out of this mess? That's very challenging. Okay, good. And by the way, I also, besides not believing, I'm going to throw another crazy thing out there. I do not understand happiness. And I came to realize that about a decade or so ago. I understand joy and enjoying, joy and enjoying. But happiness to me is very, very, very spiritual. But you can feel good about things. There we go. Thank you. Well, you see, you need to know me better, trouble seeker. Again, I don't believe in believing, but I think there is a possibility of that. How dark, I don't know. But this is based in documents that I read without the Bible, because the Bible does not treat, does not talk much about this kind of social, this specific social element of the story. I don't think that was the objective of it. And remember, guys, these books was written decades later. None of this supposedly was written by himself. That that is kind of shame, isn't it? Well, I've been like reading a little bit every day. Today I select Matthew 25 verses 35 and through 36, and then 40, 42, 43, and 45. Matthew chapter 25. It's about his position about the poor people on his time, you know, because I see a lot of people against helping the poor. And I mentioned that because here in the United States, I talked about a little bit about that yesterday. I think it was yesterday or Friday. But anyway, um, in United States, which is supposedly a capitalism system, we have about 700,000 plus homeless. And this very morning, I was watching a documentary kind of about the quantity of people, the amount of people that it is hardworking people but cannot afford a housing. You would be surprised because of the system itself. I've seen people here in California, let me tell you something. Here in California, we have a lot of people, they're living on their cars, literally living in their cars, homeless, but they still work, but they cannot afford the rent. Let me tell you something. A rental apartment depends on the location, will vary between one bedroom apartment, it will cost monthly about 22 to $2,500 a month. Not mention deposit and all the you know stuff that we have to pay, like phone bills, electricity, water, gas, and name it. Good morning, MK. Good morning. Thank you for stopping by. Let me check medicine head here. Politics, religion, power again govern us 100%, but we can't change anything. Can't is a very interesting word. Why don't we chill and be happy at our home without messing with society and stuff? Hey, this is your answer for you. That's good. I appreciate your opinion, Madison. But in the meantime, I'll tell you, Madison, I understand you're a religious person. If I got it wrong, my apologies. Why don't you examine the scriptures that I just mentioned? Matthew 25, 35, 36, 40, 42, 43, and 45. That's the verses, okay? It is a good advice for those who call themselves Christians or evangelicals. Take care of your neighbor, take care of the poor, and stop supporting agenda that is anti-Christ teachings. You know, re-examine morality. and take care of everybody. And let me talk about one thing that is very outside of gospel teachings, outside of evangelicals and Christianity as a whole. If there is one thing that if I would believe in something, which I don't, if I decide to believe in something, I would tell you this: karma, it is very, very real. Make no mistake. If you do bad stuff, sooner or later, karma will visit you. If you do a good one, most likely the same thing is going to happen. At least the bad one will tard or not going to visit you. This is outside of a religious teachings, just for sake. Yes, trouble seeker. I was reading this too. Well, there is interpretation about the eye of a needle, okay? There is interpretation of that. But it's still, okay? It is interesting analysis. He couldn't make himself more clear than that, right? But what I've noticed on those anti-social programs like feeding the poor, uh, you know, free health system and free education, etc. Home helping the homeless. What amazed me most that a lot of these people are anti these social programs. They call themselves Christians and evangelicals. Oh man, it's tough. It is tough. Rationalize ignorance. It's painful. Well, I'll let you say what you have to say. I am a guy who's right now, you know, they're really keeping an eye on me. So I will let the political side of this conversation with you guys. But use your wisdom. It's not hard. It is hard to put in practice our conscience, our pure heart, if one day we have one. Speaking about going up in heaven and etc., let me say something. Let me say something about heaven. I've been, watching those religious people. They're out there. They're out there. Those mega churches, man. Those pastors with their private chats, 20, 30,000, 20, 30, $40 million mentions, and their meetings and preachings have thousands, tens of thousands of people. And they give these people millions of dollars, but they cannot have sympathy for the poor. So, my problem with religion, again, because it's so many, right? But one of my problem is this. Imagine one, Imagine one, heaven exists. Just imagine. I think I'm not qualified for that. I probably not qualified for heaven because I cannot see myself with those all of those religious leaders out there, millionaires, some even billionaires that support these crazy political agendas. They pray every day, they cry, they go emotion, they talk about love. It makes me sick to my stomach and my heart. You know, so I believe, better saying I don't believe. I think almost certainly that I'm not qualified for heaven because I cannot imagine or see myself with these people up there. It does not fit both of us or all of us together. Some decades ago, I saw a speech from a leader. I read a speech from a leader, a church leader, which was kind of interesting. I think I should share with you guys. He was talking about I think was the three things that he would be surprised if he goes to heaven. Pay attention to this. This church leader, he was talking about the three things that he would be surprised if he goes to heaven. You want to hear this? There we go. First, he would be surprised that he is there. Me too. The first thing he would be surprised is that he made it up there. Second, he would be surprised is that the people that he thought it would be there, they're not there. And the third one, those people that he thought that wouldn't be there, it's there. That's how much I understand about heaven. I cannot explain a God that I don't understand. But I know this. Don't take any chance. Do good things, do good deeds unconditionally. Do good things, do good deeds unconditionally. Not because you learn on the gospel, your pastor, your preacher, or your religious leader told you so. Do good things for good reasons. Do the right things for the right reasons. If you do that, independently the outcome after this life or after you die, you shall be okay. There is one very certain thing in life. The spiritual certainty is that when we do good things most likely is going to happen to us here and on the next life after you die. Live the best, do the best you can right now, and then things probably going to be good for us, all of us. Probably, well, it's relatively a trouble seeker. You know, if you examine the scriptures, you're going to see a few moments that Christ had with the rich people and with the poor people. There is a lot of rich people out there that I sincerely think they're good people. Being rich could be a good thing. Could be. Remember, the very Jesus, which his name is another name, by the way. I'm just telling Jesus so you understand what I'm talking about here. Christ, he had wealthy friends too. His own grave was given by a rich man. His name was Joseph, which is probably was a different name. This is very secular name that was put in by the Western civilizations. But this is a topic for something else. Another time, maybe. So the thing is, what we're gonna do with what we have. Remember, yesterday, write this down. Yesterday, I mentioned Matthew chapter 19, 16, verses 16 through 21, 22, and 23. If you check that, you see that what I'm talking about is sometimes it's obvious that the poor needs more help than the rich, but I don't think it necessarily is a universal truth. You know, I think people who got a lot of money, rich millionaires and billionaires, and now we have a trillionaire too. Oh my goodness. I just don't know why somebody needs to be a trillionaire, but what do I know? But I think that it is really hard to be honest, sincere, helpful, and living a clean, honest life when you're rich, millionaire, billionaire. I don't think it's that easy. You can do a lot of good if you're rich, millionaire, and billionaire, but you have to fight your own demons every day. I think more often than the poor people does, and this is my opinion, of course. I want to say thank you so much for everybody. Thank you for participation, for participating. Thank you for your opinion. Very thankful for everything you guys have been doing, for the 1,000+ followers, for watching my videos. It has been amazing, your opinion. Some are disliking your opinion. I like it. I like when you dislike something that I say or post. That's not my objective here. The objective here is share information, and you do what you think you should do. Now, what I care is about learning how to behave yourselves or ourselves in situations, you know, being polite, being respectful, even giving your opinion. and sharing if you want to. Subscribe if you want to. Watch my videos. Wow, man, I post 2 videos in the past few hours. I already have like over 500 views there. That's amazing, you know? But yes, I do this for you, for all of you. And I want to say thank you. See you next time from the Self Philosopher. Take care. I normally am here on a Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Can't promise that because, like I said many times, I come here in front of this camera when I feel like, when I kind of feel inspired to do so. If I don't feel, if I feel tired or whatever, not in the mood, I'm not going to do it, you know? But I'm trying hard to be here as often as possible. And I've been posting videos pretty much every day. And I hope you guys like it. Watch, share, subscribe, and let's make this happen together. I'm also on Instagram, Carlos Todd, Carlos TODD 63. Carlos TODD 63. Thank you. Till next time.